Welcome back to Ruby's Empire. Please do well to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. So this is the part 2 of our corset class, and as you can see, I added half inches to all the pattern, and for the back I added 1 inches downwards. I increased the length by 1 inches. So this is my cups. I ironed a gum stay to it. I wanted to add stability to my pattern or to my fabric. Then here is, I'm just showing you the notches I made if you watch the part 1, so indicating that this is how I'm supposed to join, and this is for the third part piece of it. That's the upper part of it. So I'm just going to join like this. You see, it's easy for me to join because I notched it. So just make sure you do so for yours. So I've joined it already. Remember, if you notched it and you indicate your arrows, it's going to be very easy for you to join. Very easy. So if you watch closely at the picture, that's the style we made. That's in the thumbnail. You see there's a pattern like this. They added bias to it. So this is how I achieved it, just like this. So you're going to do this for the boat cup. Then you just sew. So you pin it first, then you sew. So here is my lining. I used the pattern also to cut for the lining, and I joined it exactly the way I joined for my fabric. Then remember to notch it. Even for the fabric for the other cup, remember to notch and iron. So when you finish notching, the next thing for you is just to open up the seam and you iron everything. Open it up like this and iron. Make sure you do it for all the cups, even on your main fabric. Make sure you open the in between the seams, then you iron it. So guys, I'm just trying to remind you that this is the part 2 of this tutorial. If you missed the part 1, I would advise you to go back and watch it, because you definitely learned something from that one. So guys, as I said, open up the seam and iron. So this is for my main cup. I've attached my bias, I've sewn it together. So I'm just cutting out the excess bias on the cup. So this is it. Make sure your sewing is extremely neat. You know, you're sewing on top of the bias. Make sure it's very neat, because your threads will be showing. So that is basically it. So I'll be bringing all my pieces together to just show you how to join them before I go to my sewing machine and do that. So here is the two sides of the corset dress. Remember to cut your lining exactly the way you cut your fabric. Remember to add all your allowances on your lining too. So right now I'll be bringing the center piece for you guys to see. So here is the center piece. So this is how you are going to join it. Make sure the upper side is aligning like this. Make sure it's aligning. Then you sew with 1/2 inch allowance. Remember the allowance after the cutting. Remember I told you I added 1/2 inch allowance to all the patterns. So that's that's your sewing allowance. That's what you're going to be using to sew them together. So I've sewn it already, and here it is. So I saw that the shape wasn't coming out for me, so I had to readjust, and this is what I did. I just made the downside more curvy. Should I say curvy? So that's just what I did. Just do yours. Maybe you measure 2 inches at the downside, then you just curve yours. So we're pinning the bias to the dress. So I'm going to be taking my time to do this, so watch, and I hope you grab something from it. So just arrange it. You know, we have a picture we want to imitate, so we'll just use that picture to arrange our bias. So we are almost through with this arrangement. As you can see, the style is already coming out. So here it is. So I joined the line exactly the way I joined my fabric, and here is my cup. So I'm going to be folding my cup into 2. Then I will mark the center of the cup. Then I will take my dart. I will take my dart from the upper side. So I'll come back to show you what I did. I'm going to be doing it for the 2 cup. Fold it into 2, check the center, then take your dart. So I've done that already, and here it is. And I've sewn my bias to my top. So this is the cup. I'm just putting it on my fabric cup, my already made cup. I'm just placing it on my fabric cup. So I'm going to use hemming gum to hold it in place. So I'm going to put hemming gum in between the already made cup and my fabric cup. So I'm going to put it like this, then iron it together. This is it. I'm just going to do that for the both cup. I'm going to place it like this. place it like this, then I will just iron. So guys, if you're watching up to this moment, please help my channel to grow by subscribing, like, and leave a comment, and please share the video also. It's going to help this video grow, and it's going to increase the visibility of my videos on my channel. So make sure your iron is hot, then you iron. So this hemming gum is going to help your artificial backup to stay well on your fabric. It's not going to be moving around. So you're just going to do the same thing on your other cup before you now attach it to your fabric or to your dress. So I didn't actually edit anything from this video because I want to show you guys all the processes of how I made this, all the process of how I made this. So I just wanted to be transparent, and so that you guys will understand everything. So here is it. Remember I told you before to always label your cups. So right now I already did that, so I know where this cup is supposed to be and where the other one is supposed to be. So guys, now I'm attaching it to my fabric, to my other piece, and I'm going to be aligning the bias together. Then I will pin. I'm going to pin it first before I actually go to my sewing machine to sew it together. So if you're a beginner, I'm going to advise you to pin before you sew. Pinning helps a lot. Pinning helps you to adjust if there is a mistake before you actually sew. Instead of you sewing and you find out there is a mistake, then you lose, it's not going to be neat. So you see, you're just going to pin before you go and sew, and that is basically what I'm doing. So I'm going to do this for the two sides, then I'll go to my sewing machine and just sew it together. So I have other videos on my channel that I know it's going to be very helpful to you. So I hope you check them out, and I hope you learn something from it too. Thank you. So I'm still pinning. So here is it. I'm through with one side. I'm going to sew this side first before I actually pin for the second one. So here is it. I'm through sewing, and I also top stitched it. So the next thing for us to do is to sew our lining together with it. So the lining, the front side of the lining will be facing the front side of this fabric, and we're going to be sewing the up side. Then after that, when sewing, we just attach our boning. We'll measure the boning, then you cut half inches from it or 1 inches from the boning before you fix it. So right now I'm placing the right side of the lining to the right side of the fabric, and I'm going to sew the top side. I'm going to sew it all round. Right now I'm through sewing it. Make sure after sewing you notch it. Notch. So for the back side of this, I attached one bias. I'm just going to be attaching one boning to it. Now I'm just indicating that I'm going to be sewing this at the downside too, and I'll be leaving one side. I'll sew one side of the back, then I will leave one side open. But before all this, we're going to be attaching our boning. So like I said, you cut and you measure, then you cut out 1 inch from that measurement, then you bone the mouth of your boning. Now you're boning this, making it smooth so that it's not going to poke your fabric and maybe injure the person wearing it or tear the fabric, like I said. So you're just going to be doing this to avoid any sharp edges. Then you attach it to it. Like I said, I attached one boning to the back, and I told you I'm going to be leaving one side open. I've sewn it, and now I'll be closing it. I've sewn the downside. Here it is. Then I turned it from the back. I told you I'll be leaving one back open and I'll be closing one back. So I turned it over, and here is it. Look at how neat it came out. Here is the back, and I also attached my loops. So here is for the sleeve. I cut out 45 inches by length and 15 inches by width. So I'll be doing it, I'll be gathering it with my elastic, the up and the down side, and I'll be doing it for the 2 sleeves. So here is it. I've gathered it, and now I am attaching it to my top. So I'm just going to be pinning it down at this side. I am indicating at your sleeve side. So I'm just going to, I'll pin it down. So I'll be taking ½ inches as my sewing allowance, and I'm just going to sew. I'll pin it down first, then I'll go to my sewing machine and sew. I'm going to be doing it for the 2 sleeves for the both sides, and that's basically it for this corset top. I hope you understand everything I said, and thank you for watching up to this moment. I am very, very grateful. Please like, subscribe and share. So like I said, I enjoyed pinning before I go to my sewing machine to sew it down, because with that I'm just going to be avoiding unnecessary mistakes. And so I will do it for the other side too, like I said. And this is it. It's so simple, and I hope you try it out, and I also hope you share your results with me. So here is mine, and look at how beautiful it came out. Thank you for watching, guys.